Okay, next item on the agenda.
Referral number 21-0329, authorize the allocation of emergency grant funding to the Gates Volunteer Ambulance Service to reimburse expenditures incurred during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Madam Chairwoman,
Moved by Mr. Alcoffer, second by Ms. Wright. Any discussion on the floor? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes. Next item on the agenda.
Referral number 21-0331, appointments to the Criminal Justice Council.
Move it, Madam Chairwoman.
Yes, moved by Ms. Wright, second by Dr. and President Carbone. Any discussion on the matter? We know that the director is here, someone called the commissioner. Would you like to make any statements with regards to, because we haven't had this, and I sit on the council, so maybe, would you like to add some comments, please? Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chairperson. The two individuals are exceptional appointees or potential appointees for the Criminal Justice Council. As you stated, you are a member of that council, and we meet 6 times a year. Shira May takes over where Frank Liberty from the Center for Dispute Settlement had a seat on the council, and the opportunities that they present to us and the services they provide to the community make her an exceptional choice for this council, as well as her history and what her resume reflects. The second individual, Julio Jordan, comes to us from the Ibero League. I had the opportunity of serving with Julio on the working group for mental health and addiction concerning the RAISE Commission. And once again, his commitment to the community is exceptional. He brings a great deal of bandwidth to the council, and in this particular case, fills a vacant seat that is much needed as he represents a member of a diverse community.
Can you, Mr. Kinsella, can you again say the second name of the individual?
Julio Jordan.
Okay, so I got, yes, I apologize. Because I got my notes say a different person, I apologize. Yeah, all right. So we have Julio Jordan and Shira, okay, all right. Thank you. I apologize, okay. Any further questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Lamar.
through you to Mr. Tancello, can you just give us some background on what the Criminal Justice Council is and what their function is?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, can you just repeat the last part of that question?
What is their function? What does the Criminal Justice Council do?
Okay.
What's done in there?
So it is created by the County of Monroe, and we meet, as I mentioned, 6 times a year. We talk about contemporary issues associated with the criminal justice system. Just highlighting some of the members are the district attorney, the public defender, the Office of Mental Health, law enforcement representatives, and of course, citizen individuals, as we've mentioned, judges from all levels of the judiciary for New York State. And as the chair for the Public Safety Committee is also on the Criminal Justice Council, so any particular issues that we contend with, contemporary in nature, and how we can support any initiatives associated with that. So if, for example, the public defender has a particular situation that he's dealing with, how can we do that, support that as a community? We have a representative from the faith community who does jail ministry and work to support the jail and those inmates that are at the correctional facility. So things of that nature that allows us to move forward in a positive direction with what our government partners and individuals are dealing with in the community that are associated with the criminal justice system.
Thank you. And through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Tancello again, I know that myself, you and me, and a few other people in the room, we sat on the Project Excel council. I'm wondering if this is similar to what's done there.
Having been a part of Project Exile, I think what's unique about the criminal justice system is that all aspects of the criminal justice community are part of that. So just making a comparison with Project Exile, you did not see the public defender there. You did not see the Office of Mental Health there. You did not see specific services, much like the Ibero League, involved in that particular organization. So I think we are through, I apologize, I should have said through the chair.
I could be
I was just so excited to answer. So I believe it's more holistic so that every aspect of the community is represented and involved and have their voice at the table.
Thank you.
Just as a side note, how about with regards to, just because people probably are a little familiar, also that we have, things that we have to look at through this lens of the county, that have to be, for the state of New York. So the plans that we have to approve for the state of New York. Okay,
You're gonna have to refresh my recollection on that one.
yeah, so there's always planning that's involved, and then we usually get the documents once a year that we have to approve. Specifically, I'm blanking, my brain's a little mushy right now, but, yeah, some of the things that we have to do, we have to look over on the state. So, yeah. Anything further? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? Item passes. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 21-0336, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee for the Child Passenger Safety Program, Department of Public Safety.
Move it. Second.
Moved by President Carbone, seconded by Mr. Dondorfer. Any discussion on that? Yes, Mr. Dondorfer.
Question. Through you to the administration, how is this program advertised to the public, and where does this program take place?
Through the chair. The program is advertised by many of our stakeholders, and in addition to that, we do publish this on the county website for the Office of Traffic Safety in regards to the scheduling that's going to occur in various aspects of the community. If you were to look at the locations, they're throughout the county of Monroe. They involve both fire, police, EMS, as well as the Health and Human Services Department, as we partner with them, in particular with those families that are in need.
And through you to the administration, through the chair, through the administration, how's the program going so far? Is it successful? I don't know if there's really a way to measure that, but is it gaining traction? Are people coming to these events? And
Through the chair, so there's an allocation that has been made for the last 17 years. Of course, I was not here for those. But in each of those years, they didn't meet the objective of the goal of the grant, which did allocate 240 plus car seats to those families in need, as well as fitting stations for those families that did have, if you will, a pre-purchased car seat, and then the car seat technicians are able to adequately and properly fit that car seat. 70% of the car seats that are typically out on the road today are not fitted properly.
Anything further? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 21-0337, amend resolution 224 of 2019 to accept additional funding from the New York State Office of Victim Services for the Victim and Witness Assistance Grant Program for the District Attorney's Office.
Move it, Madam Chairwoman.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Dondorfer, seconded by Mr. Alcoffer. Any discussion on that? Yes, Ms.
Yes.
Lamar?
Through you to the administration, how much was spent last year through the, or on the Victim and Witness Assistance Program?
Through the chair, can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. How much was spent on the Victim and Witness Assistance Program? 2019.
Through the chair, Dawn Staub, Chief Administrator for the District Attorney's Office. Are you looking for how much was spent out of this grant or for the whole division within our office?
Through you, Madam Chair. I guess my question is probably best suited for the next item on the agenda. I was trying to gauge or get an idea of how much was spent on the actual victims or the witnesses in 2019.
Okay, any further questions? Did you, or do you want to wait for the?
I'll wait for an answer.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Through the chair, Jennifer Curley from the Sheriff's Office. This grant is a direct service grant, so we do not get funded unless the direct service is to a victim.
Point
So-
of order. I'm gonna pull that, okay, because we're on the one with regards to the district attorney's office. So specifically, if you want to know about the sheriff's office, let me do.
Well, victim assistance is under the district attorney's office, correct?
Yes, it is, so Ms. Cobb, if you're more appropriate to answer that one, and then we can have Ms. Curley answer the one with regards to the sheriff's department. Okay.
Through the chair, similar to was just mentioned in regard to the sheriff's office, this grant functions the same way in the district attorney's office. It is a service grant, so if services weren't rendered, we would not receive reimbursement on the grant.
Thank you.
Yep. No?
You didn't answer the question, but I'll wait.
Okay, all right. And then, Ms. Stubb, I just have a question, with regards to under the total amount that we're spending on the grant, what categories come under that with regards to either victims or witnesses? How are we spending that money?
Through the chair, the funds of this award are for staff and training of staff.
Okay, so none is going towards either the victims or the witnesses for relocation or anything else?
Funds from this grant are not used for that purpose through the chair.
Thank you. Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Item passes. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 21-0338, amend resolution 225 of 2019 to accept additional funding from the New York State Office of Victim Services for the Sheriff's Victim Assistance Program.
Madam Chairwoman?
Moved by Mr. Alcott.
Second.
Second by Ms. Wright. Questions on the floor? Ms. Lamar?
Thank you.
Yes.
Through you to the administration. I've been trying to get information on victims assistance for 2 years now, and I haven't been able to get a straight answer. There's no data that's been provided, or I haven't seen any data that indicates how much is spent on actual victims, how much did we spend the year before, what's spent in salary, what victim assistance even looks like, who do they service? And I'm sorry if I went too fast on all of those asks, but I've been asking those questions for 2 years. I have some real concerns about victim assistance, especially some of the language. The language sort of excludes a certain population. They say, you shook your head, but the language says something like, if you don't cooperate with the police, then you won't be serviced. Or if they find out that you were somehow involved with your victimization, then they won't receive services from victims assistance. So my ask is a few, but my first ask is, who or how much was spent on salary versus victims? You can just give me 2019 or 2020.
Well, I think that's what I was trying to explain, is that this grant funds the direct service portion of our program and the DA's office program. Outside of this is also funding through OBS, where we get the victim's compensation. So our victim advocates will file claims for victims in Monroe County to get reimbursement for therapy, funerals, whatever else there is that victims need. So there's kind of a two-prong, and that's maybe where the confusion is coming from. So our staff will assist the victims in getting counseling and therapy, going to court with them, and then OVS, the state level, is the organization that actually reimburses and gives funds to the victims themselves. So I can't tell you how much victims get because the state oversees that. Our portion is the state gives us funds so that we help the victims in Monroe County, but we do not give them any direct funding. There are emergency situations where like we have to buy equipment for victims or get them an added level of security, and we can use the grant for that, but it has to be an emergency type situation and approved by the Office of Victim Services. So yes, we can get you exactly what we spent on everything for the past, I think this is 3 years. Can we get that to you in an email? Because it's 3 years, so I mean, we have 3 advocates and the DA's office has a few. And then, so those exact figures we'll have to get back to you on that. Is there any other questions?
Yes, thank you for your answer to you, Madam Chair. I work directly with victims, especially victims of violence. And the struggle and the reason I'm so passionate about this is because I'm seeing victims not being helped by the county. So I want to ensure that by approving you receiving this grant or adding any positions to that department, I want to make sure that it's reaching the people it's supposed to reach. And I know for a fact that it hasn't. And I wish that there was some data to sort of substantiate what you're saying and discredit what I'm saying. I'm very concerned about there being no data. And I probably sent you an email before, maybe it was you or maybe someone in your office, but I have a string of emails that I've been asking the same questions for 2 years about victim assistance. I'm very concerned about the Victims Assistance Department. I'm very concerned about the population that it marginalizes. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to actually do some real work in that department to ensure that it's really touching the people who are in their lives. Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 21-0339, authorize a contract with Matrix Consulting Group to conduct a staffing analysis study for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
Move it, Madam Chairwoman.
Moved by Ms. Wright, seconded by President Carbone. Questions on the floor? Yes, Mr. Donovan.
Through you to the administration, how often are these studies, staffing studies conducted? And when was the last time we had one done?
Through the chair, Paul Simonelli for the Sheriff's Office. There's no rule of thumb with doing a staffing study like this. I will tell you, as the county is celebrating its 200th anniversary this year, so is the Sheriff's Office, and this will be the first one ever done in the history of the Sheriff's Office.
I have a couple of questions, Mr. Simonelli. Who else responded to this RFP?
There were to the chair. There were 4 companies that responded, 3 besides Matrix. The other 3 companies were a company called Ricky Green Consulting, DKMT Consulting, and CGR Consulting. All 4 of those companies met the minimum qualifications.
And with regards to, you said that this was the first time that they've asked to study the staffing with regards to the sheriff's department?
This is the first time in the history of the Sheriff's Office that it's being done, yes.
Yeah, okay. And is this, to your knowledge, do you know if this is being done statewide in other sheriff's departments?
It's not mandated that it be done, Madam Chairman. This has been a goal of the sheriff since he arrived. There really has been very little change in the structure of the Sheriff's Office in our lifetimes, our adult lifetimes. And so in order to set a baseline for the future and for the short term and long term, it was necessary to really get an expert outside view of this to see, to compare our practices with the best practices in the country, as well as not only in staffing, but management. This is going to be comprehensive, including information technology. It'll be a 360 review of operations at the Sheriff's Office. So it really will establish a baseline for the future. So when we come to you in the future with a recommendation, hopefully we'll have information necessary to support and answer the questions that you'll have.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Fletcher Mitchell.
Thank you. Just through you to the administration. What do you plan on doing with the results of the survey?
So through the chair, the results of the survey are completely transparent. One of the, depending on the status of, we're working on a new website for the Sheriff's Office right now, but it will be posted publicly and shared with the public, with the legislature, with anybody that wants it. This is a completely transparent, open, we're going in with no preconceived objectives or conclusions, and we're all looking forward to see what the results are, but it's going to be completely open.
I just have one further question with regards to this. How about, is this going to correlate with the calls for service, the time response to that?
There's for the road patrol, there's over 90 different pieces of information that are being looked at. Collecting, that data is being collected on, will be collected on, and we'll take a look at it. Calls for service obviously are one of those, but that is just one minute piece of what I think we're going to see as a finished product.
Any further questions? Yes, Ms. Lamar.
For you to the administration, I'm sorry, what did you say the goal of this study was? What are you hoping to get out of this study?
So the stated goal is to create a roadmap with recommendations that are included in this report for taking the Sheriff's Office into the next 10 to 20 years, both in staffing requirements, operational makeup of the Sheriff's Office, anything having to do with any facet of the Sheriff's Office, all six bureaus of the Sheriff's Office, so that we can make sure that all our efforts are coordinated, synchronized, and that we can create the most efficient force to perform our mission here in Monroe County.
Yes, Mr. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Lamar.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer, and through you, Madam Chair, to the administration. Is this company MWBE certified?
I don't believe that this company is MWBE certified. There were none of the respondents to the RFP were MWBE certified companies.
And just one more question, Madam Chair, through you to the administration. So there was a good faith effort made to MWBE companies who didn't respond to the RFP?
Through the chair, this effort was the same that we attempt to do with every contract or every proposal that goes out. I don't think there was anything out of the ordinary that was done by county purchasing and publicizing and promoting the RFP and seeking responses for it.
Thank you.
Mr. Clark, Commissioner.
Yeah, just, through you to the administration, this survey is just a survey. This ain't going to affect the number of deputies we have from now to the future. It ain't gonna decrease our staffing with, I hope that don't happen. But, just through you to the
Through the chair, I can't imagine that the results would be a recommendation of the results. Just to clarify, we're talking about the entire sheriff's office. So the road patrol, the jail bureau, civil bureau, the courts, our staff services bureau, and the administration. Whether or not when all four bureau or the four main operational bureaus are looked at, I'm not sure what the recommendations are going to be regarding manpower. Will they say that instead of 17 civil deputies, we need 19, or if with new technology we could reduce it down to 16? There's no predetermination of that right now. We're really going to look and see where the cards fall as a result of the work that they do.
Thank you. See any other questions? Yes, Mr. Donovan.
Through you to the administration, just for some clarification, you just made a comment that the whole sheriff's department is being looked at, the court, the jail, and the road. I don't believe it says that in the proposal. I think the jail specifically left out.
Through the chair, that's correct. Originally, when we put our RFP out, we included the jail. Because of a recent project that's it's ongoing right now with Lacessi Construction to do an assessment of the jail facilities, a portion of that study that you folks have approved already, that's ongoing and should be completed by the end of October at the latest, they are doing the staff study portion of the jail. Matrix will be taking the results from the Lacessi staff study, augmenting it in any way if there's anything missing, and then integrating that into the final report that's going to look at the entire sheriff's office. So we're going to end up with one final report will be comprehensive for the entire agency.
Thank you, Mr. Donovan, for that clarification. Any other further questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes. Next item.
Referral 21-0340, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee for the Police Traffic Services Program.
Move it.
Moved by President Carbone, seconded by Mr. Donovan. Questions on the floor? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes. Next item on the agenda.
Referral 21-0341, acceptance of a grant from the New York State Canal Corporation for the New York State Canal Corporation Marine Patrol Matching Grant Program.
Move it, Madam Chairperson.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Donovan, seconded by Mr. Alcoff. Yes, Mr. Cleveland Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to you to the administration, is the Monroe County Sheriff Office the only law enforcement organization patrolling the Erie Canal in Monroe County?
Through the chair, yes, because the New York State troopers used to patrol the canal, but they are not patrolling the canal anymore. So the Canal Corporation has reached out to Monroe County to patrol the canal.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes. All right. Did any other matters come before this committee? So at this time, there will be no matters before us. The September 27th, 2021 meeting of the Public Safety Committee is adjourned. The next meeting of the Public Safety Committee will be held Monday, October 25th at 5:30 p.m.